in the first half. Zenit and Juventus, or Juventus and Zenit as it will be, will go head-to-head later on. This one of the two early kickoffs. Wolfsburg and Salzburg is the other in the Champions League tonight. It's all about increasing the amount of people who can watch the games, apparently. Here's Andreas Christensen bringing the ball up to the halfway line. Christensen, of course, got his first ever Chelsea goal at the 137th attempt. And these two met a fortnight ago. Now here's Rudiger. Malmo coming into this game having picked up a bit of form since they were beaten handily at Stamford Bridge, unbeaten in the 3 games they played since then. They've won the last 2 of them back at the top of the Allsvenskan after beating Sirius 3-2 at the weekend, albeit they needed an injury time winner to do so. Chelsea in absolutely sensational form, particularly in front of goal. Since losing against Juventus, the Blues have scored 19 and conceded just twice in 6 games. Here's Alonso playing it up to Havertz. Poor touch from him there, which turns over possession to Berget. He's quickly dispossessed. Ball goes out of play for a throw-in.
Noticeable little change from Malmo. In the first game, they tried to push us really high up early on. They ain't doing that this time. And they're playing a slightly different version of it. They're actually playing what is basically a 5, a 3, then a 1, then a 1. And we're interested to see what Nanasi would play, and he is playing almost as a 10.
Yeah, Bernard Chambers, the man who's given way to the bench, much more of an out-and-out striker, so it does make a bit of sense, I suppose. But they need to try and pose some threat, which they just couldn't do against Chelsea 2 weeks ago. Camera pans to Thomas Tuchel, who for the moment is sat down. I'm sure that won't be the case for very long though. 2 minutes gone, Malmo 0, Chelsea 0. Malmo, so far, comprehensive defeats all round for them, not just 4-0 against Chelsea, also against Zenit, albeit they played with 10 men for a portion of that game, and they were beaten 3-0 here by Juventus on match.
Loves to be here instead, though. No, when I'm in Glaswegian, it was painful for them, you know. So, you know, getting to the group stages is, you know, for some teams and for some level, it's brilliant. And then the next thing they think, okay, if we don't qualify the group, we try and get third. So that's in the minds of these teams as well. They keep on staying in Europe as long as they possibly can. And for that to happen, I think they have to go and try and win this game tonight.
Hopefully that will mean that we get an entertaining spectacle. Here's Mendy with the ball at his feet, rolling it out quickly to Christensen. Christensen clips a pass from right to left for Tony Rudiger. Rudiger can push toward halfway. He's got a lot of grass to run into here. His left-hand side, he scooped the ball over the top into the channel, looking for the run of Ziyech, but it was intercepted before he could get it. But one back by Azpilicueta, edge of the penalty area. Now Havertz rolls just inside the box, goes down. Big shout for a penalty there. Havertz is hurt, as is the defender who collided with him. I think it was havertz. Referee wasn't interested. Now play goes dead. Let's see what the VAR thinks.
Well, I mean, it looks as if he's turned to have a shot, and as he's trying to put the shot, the foot gets in the way. I'll tell you what, you've got to have a look at that, surely. Difficult to see from, you know, this angle, but it's one of those ones where there's no reason why he should go down. So he's flicked the ball round, and he's...
Oh, he kicked the defender, didn't he?
Yeah, I think the referee's got that right. I don't think they get a penalty for that, because he's got a little bit of the ball there. So, no, that's absolutely fine. Which is, you know, it's one of those ones where you're happy when VAR can go in and do the right thing, because it was a tough one to see at, you know, max speed. The referee's not panicked, he's let the play go on and got the decision right. But good ball in there, and happily, our man Kai is okay, moving well.
Here's Innocent moving it back into his own half to find Brawson. Brawson playing up left-hand side toward halfway. Azpilicueta trying to win the ball back for Chelsea. Rex then hits it against him, who got much to the chagrin of the Malmo players.
And that's what happens with fans, you know, they're excited at the start, you know, they keep on going, they'll shout for everything, they put pressure on the referee. That's what fans should do. I mean, Chelsea fans, you were there at Newcastle at the weekend, and you do it even if you're away up in the gods and keep on singing all the way through. It didn't half help, and it certainly puts a question in the referee's mind for some of the decisions.
Well, Chelsea supporters here who've travelled over land and sea, as was, but there's a good number from the Swedish branch of Chelsea supporters here, representing the European champions as well. As Christensen throws the ball back to Mendy, he first time sweeps it out to Rudiger, edge of the penalty area. Now on for Marcos Alonso, back with Rudiger once more. Rudiger trying to turn away from his man Rakit, and he was almost dispossessed. He did well to work into Alonso eventually. Now here's Jorginho inside his own box. Rakit brings him down. Chelsea free kick.
It's one of the oldest ones in the book when you play against Chelsea. I mean, in times gone past, teams have thought, you know, I mean, going back years now, stop the ball going to Jorginho, stop him getting on the ball, stop controlling the play. And that's as far as I can see, that's what Nanasi's job is when he's not got the ball. Close down as much as you possibly can in Jorginho and don't let him control the tempo of the play.
Free kick conceded here on the halfway line as Ziyech looked to try and get Chelsea moving and just caught innocent.
I think that might have been Ruben there, just using his physique, which he's capable of doing.
As he plays it back to Rakib, just over halfway, tall pass from him, easily picked off. Well, it would have been by Azpilicueta. Ziyech got there first, and Azpilicueta moved it back to Mendy, who's had 6 and a bit minutes now, 0-0. This Group H match day 4 in the Champions League. Chelsea with 6 points from their 3 games so far. Malmo yet to register as Nielsen works it all the way back to Darley, taken off at half time with an injury at Stamford Bridge, but he was quickly back in the team for the next game. Here's Jorginho, was brought to ground by Berget there. Chelsea get a free kick left hand side inside their own half.
Right on top of Jorginho, aren't they? You know that certain players, you know, managers said beforehand, right, get near him, get close to him, don't give him a second. Jorginho knows that. He knows that he's going to get that for a period of time. It's all about finding where the space develops. And if he drags players towards him, then others, maybe Callum is on the ball just now, can maybe get a little bit more space. But at the moment, there's not a lot of space out in our field.
Lovely play from Hudson-Odoi to keep the ball in play on the left-hand side. He's gone past a few challenges, looked to bend one right out to Azpilicueta inside the penalty area. Didn't get enough height on it though, cleared away for a throw-in on halfway to Chelsea.
I think good when you see Callum do that, isn't it? You know, get the first time you get the ball, go past a couple of players. I mean, it raises your confidence, but more than that, it asks the defender questions and they start backing off immediately. So, good psychology of Callum. First time you get the ball, go past a couple of players, you're in a good place.
Easier to do that, presumably, when you're playing in the position you want to for what, the 4th, 5th game in a row, rather than thinking, well, this is my chance in a League Cup tie, I've got to be extra safe about everything I do and not make a mistake.
Do you know, that's every player suffers from that, and that's just the way you need to find a way around it. I can remember Kevin De Bruyne having that problem in this club.
Here's Havertz back to goal. Chelsea on the attack. Loftus-Cheek moves it out to Hudson-Odoi, edge of the penalty area, inside left position. Now inside the box, looking for a right-footed shot, which is hit straight into a defender. And, well, they should have got it away through Berget, but he hits it at Hudson-Odoi in the right-back position now, Berget, and he puts it up the line, but only to Jorginho. And Jorginho will play a square pass to Azpilicueta, and he'll go back into his own half where Christensen will pick up the pieces.
Really interesting moment that with Callum going inside. The shot was blocked. Now, if it goes into the bottom corner, well done. But Marcus Alonso made some run round the outside there. 90% of the time you play that run in. He'll do it once and they maybe not say anything, Marcus, but if he doesn't get it next time, he'll have a few words.
Here's Hudson-Odoi left-hand side. Alonso's infield at the moment. Now he gets a ball from Hudson-Odoi. Gives it back to him. Berget quick to engage him, so he Hudson-Odoi left-hand side. Alonso's infield at the moment. Now he gets a ball from Hudson-Odoi. Gives it back to him. Berget quick to engage him, so he offloaded it to Rudiger. Rudiger will lift one over the top, or at least try to. It wasn't a good pass though. Straight to Havertz. Now Rakib will get it clear for Malmo. Again, even now, 9 minutes into the game, Cholak, who is very much a lone striker, with Nanasi quite a way behind him, looking pretty isolated.
It's tough for him because Ziyech to get his chance.
Ziyech has done well. He's gone through a few challenges and he's played the ball for Alonso inside the box at the dead ball line. Cut it back, had to hit it first time, and it was blocked by a defender. A bit too much on the pass from Ziyech.
Yeah, a bit of a shame there for Hakim because it must have been on his mind for a shot. It's on his left foot. He came close a few times up at Newcastle, but he played the right ball, just as you say correctly, at the wrong place.
Here's Ziyech again, left-hand side into Alonso inside the penalty area, drifting out again with 2 defenders at his back. Goes back for Rudiger. Rudiger back for Alonso, level with the edge of the penalty area, left-hand side. Malmo with lots of players back behind the ball, and Chelsea having to go back up to halfway in order to retain possession. Rudiger then gives it to Christensen. Christensen will move it forward for Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek has lost it though. And here's Nanasi, and he's playing it through looking for Cholak. Cholak and Pena rather got in each other's way. Nanasi's got it back again now though inside the penalty area, looking for room for a shot between them. Christensen and Silva blocked it. It meant the ball just trickled through to Mendy, but that's a moment of encouragement 10 minutes in for the home side.
Yeah, they've tried to close down the midfielders, particularly Jorginho and Ruben that time. Just gets caught on it, and I was very intrigued to see the reaction of the other Chelsea players around Ruben. Were they going to, turn around and have a little bit of dig at him? They didn't. He knows himself that was a tough movement.
Through the middle for Cholak here. Chelsea hoping the flag would go up. I think it did actually on this near side. Christensen seemed very relaxed about that, and anyway, Mendy came and grabbed it.
Classically, it's the ball you don't get caught out playing. If you're the last midfielder, you don't play a ball across that you don't know 100% is going to reach its destination. So Ruben will have a little feeling in the back of his neck now, thinking, right, I better not do that one again.
Misplaced pass from Rudiger has put the ball out for a throw. We get the chance on our monitor to see it again. It was a sloppy moment from Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah, if they would have been breaking quicker, they should have got a shot on target from that. And that's a great moment for Ruben. He'll be wanting to make up for that.
Ziyech moves it left-hand side for Hudson-Odoi. Meanwhile, Chelsea on the attack. Hudson-Odoi with two defenders in front of him gives it to Alonso just inside the penalty area. Going to have a go with the swinger. His right foot, Marcos Alonso, and the reaction from the crowd will tell you he was not particularly close to goal.
We all know my theories about the righties can kick the ball with the left foot, but the lefties aren't great with the right foot most of the time, as we spotted at the weekend there. Fantastic goal from Reece James with one foot, then one with the other, but the left foot sometimes can catch it, but you're not surprised when you see one just swivels way off to the right like my 5-iron.
He's never scored in the Champions League, Marcos Alonso.
That's surprising, isn't it? You think about it. He does score a lot of goals and he gets in good positions.
Maybe tonight will be his night. Alonso in possession, moves it to Christensen. Christensen will come up toward the halfway line. He's in the centre circle. He's crossed into Malmo's half now. Plays it out for Ziyech. He's right side for the moment. Gives it out to Azpilicueta. Ziyech continuing his run down the line, but Azpilicueta goes back instead to Christensen. Now here's Jorginho. And then Alonso feeding one through to Havertz inside the penalty area. Able to turn here, Havertz. Still lots of Malmo defenders inside the box, making it difficult to find a way through. Maybe Alonso can do that now, near the dead ball line. Plays it back to Azpilicueta, who has a swipe, and the goalkeeper made a mess of that and goes behind for the first corner of the night.
Yeah, and Marcos Alonso, by the way, what about his running already in this game? I mean, he's wing back, yeah, but honestly, he spends so much time in, I was going to say the final third, but the final 10% of the opposition, and I suppose he's got it on his mind that his replacement, chilwell, scored a few goals and has been doing well of late, so he's desperate to get back in the team, and he's showing exactly the right attitude.
Hudson-Odoi worked the corner short to Ziyech, and that did not work at all. I'm not even sure why he did it, because there was a Malmo player right next to Hakim Ziyech in Pena, and now it's gone out for a throw.
I think Thomas will be getting a little bit frustrated. That's another ball there, that time by Havertz, where, just a little bit more sloppy.
Eventually goes through to Darlene, the goalkeeper. And we know Thomas Tuchel will let them know if they are not executing the game plan correctly.
No, he'll be right on it. There's no doubt in my mind. He'll be absolutely on that. You don't do... I'd say that's probably 4. Now, Rudiger got caught in the ball once. Obviously, Ruben did as well. Mistaken pass there from Kai. Another one from Callum Hudson-Odoi. When Callum, to be fair, it was an easy ball on there. He really concentrate, do it right. So Thomas will be waiting for them out there. Change that before half-time.
Coming up to the 15-minute mark. 0-0. No real opportunities to talk about so far as Mendy gets a ball played back to him, which he has to hit first time high up into the night sky. Drop here for Azpilicueta. He won the header. Loftus-Cheek trying to get it ahead of Innocent. Eventually the ball goes out of play for a Malmo throw. Boys inside the stadium. Malmo haven't had many games against English teams in their history. A couple against Forest, one in the final of this competition back in '79, and then in the UEFA Cup in '95-96. They played Swansea in qualifying for the Europa League as well back in 2013. Chelsea, of course, in the Europa League last 16, just a couple of years ago.
A fairly good idea that you might know who scored the goal in that European Cup final, and indeed who've put the cross in as well, the Scotsman that did.
Yeah, John Robertson to Trevor Francis, the rest is history, as they say. Englishman managing Malmo that night as well, wasn't there? Bobby Houghton. There is Loftus-Cheek. Of course, there's lots of links between English and Scandinavian football. Roy Hodgson did a lot to advance the game in this part of the world during his early coaching career. He goes recently to Graham Potter at Östersund as well. Recently relegated, actually, from the Swedish top flight, were Östersund. They're in all sorts of financial issues. Malmo the dominant force here, but it's Chelsea who are on the attack, and the ball played into Ziyech inside the penalty area. Good save from Darling. No real angle for Ziyech there, but he had to go anyway. Goalkeeper came out and smothered it, and it goes behind for a corner.
Really nice play by Kai Havertz there. He's out in the wide right hand side, little nutmeg, and then he's going in towards a dangerous area. He's playing through to Ziyech. Problem with Hakim there, again, it's on his right foot, and he really can't get his foot round it there. But really smart play from Kai Havertz, who, to be fair, I mean, he can play the 9, he can play the false 9. He's probably slightly better, just arriving a little bit later and playing off a main man, but you see that when he gets the ball there, he looks so dangerous.
Ziyech to take the corner then. This time it goes direct in toward Christensen. Bergat got something on it, but he's not really got it clear. It's broken for Alonso. He plays it to Loftus-Cheek, edge of the box. Back for Alonso once more. Jorginho then moves it out cleverly, right-hand side to Ziyech. Bit of space to measure his cross. This is where it can be so good, Ziyech. It's a good ball whipped in, glanced on by Loftus-Cheek. And the header drops just wide of the post.
Do you know some players, and even before they've had the cross in, you know exactly what they're going to do. You know exactly where the danger is, what the problem is. And Hakim goes inside there and just curls it towards the back post. If no one touches it, it goes in towards the back post. It's a classic position to play that there. Ruben's right to go for a little nod on that there, and just gets a little bit too much on it. But it's a good ball in. Probably needs a little bit more whip, but it was a decent ball.
That was what we saw Ziyech do so devastatingly in that game when he really came to Chelsea supporters' attention. The 4-4 at Stamford Bridge a couple of years ago. Coming together here between Cholak and Loftus-Cheek, which has left Loftus-Cheek down.
So we say that was a slightly robust reaction between the two of them there. It was a wrestling match there, wasn't it? Anything else? I was trying to see if there's a little bit of shove involved as well.
Maybe a stamp on the ankle as well. A stamp might be harsh, it might be just where his foot landed, but it hurt Ruben anyway. But he's okay, plays back underway. Greetings, Grafton fans from Sweden. Here's Christensen out to Aspilicueta. Christensen then lofts the ball into the right channel, looking for Ziyech, trying to get away from Brawson, but Brawson has to head it behind for a throw, taken quickly into the penalty area to Havertz. He's on his own here, marked by 3 players, including Ahmed Hodzic. And Ahmed Hodzic has a collision with Havertz, and the referee tells Havertz to get back up to his feet.
You know, he's having a word with the referee there. He said, you've got to look at that again. He feels it was brought down. He's flicked the ball around, and again, I do think it's Kai's kicking the opposition player, and I don't think it's deliberate. He's just trying to get, so there's a tangle of legs, can we call it that, for the second time? But I think the referee in this case, I would say I'd stick with the referee. I think he's got that one right there.
Lovely ball, lofted over the top by Aspilicueta to Ziyech, right hand side, touch behind for a corner by Pena. Chelsea having a decent spell of pace.
And consider it's a home game, you know, it's a lot of pressure if they're going to have to put off that for the rest of the game.
Corner from the far side to the right, a little bit of pushing and shoving. The referee wants to make known that he has seen before the ball comes in. And it will be Ziyech to whip it in. Lovely shape on his cross as it comes in. Flicked away by Ahmed Hodzic though. It will be picked up left-hand side by Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi on his right foot looked across it, faked to do so, then offloaded it to Loftus-Cheek. He's trying to bend one into the top corner. Didn't quite get his angles right, goes behind for a goal kick.
Lots of options there, wasn't there, for Ruben? He could have put it in the back post. We still had about 7 or 8 men, you know, at the back post waiting for to be able to attack that. It would be a difficult one for the goalkeeper. And the centre-backs all still up there, waiting to attack it. And you know who Chelsea's danger man is in these situations? Everybody. That's the thing, isn't it? Every player is a danger this season.
Yeah, we've got a rarity here where there are a couple of players starting this match who haven't actually scored a goal yet for Chelsea this season, in Loftus-Cheek and Aspilicueta. So we'll see if they can break their ducks tonight. Here come Malmo though, ball overhit by Bergat, looking for Cholak, goes straight through to Mendy.
Yeah, boots offside, there's no doubt about that as well. Getting in a decent position there, but it's the comfort of when Thiago Silva sees a danger and he just like walks up. You know, he doesn't really jog out, he just steps out with such ease, knowing, you know, you're going to run offside.
We've spoken about it before, I think, but it's got to be so damaging mentally for the strikers that he's up against, that he doesn't break stride or break sweat. He just takes the ball whenever he wants and
I think they could pretend he was trying sometimes because it just doesn't look like it. And there's very, very few players, by quick players or strong players or technically good players, and then they feel as if they're absolutely exhausted at the end of the game.
Well, good ball here from Christensen for Ziyech inside the penalty area, crossing, looking for Havertz, cleared away, but back to Ziyech. Ziyech trying to have a volley with his left foot. He did really well to tee up that, and he managed to whack it with some power toward Darling, but the goalkeeper grabbed it.
Yeah, it's beginning to get wound up a little bit now, isn't it? The odd gap appearing now and again. Now that's a brilliant run into a very dangerous area there from Ziyech. Puts the right ball in, puts in with his right foot, and once again he lashes it with his left. Now, hitting from those angles, if Reece James can do it, he thinks I can do it too. But quite catch it as well as Reece did against Newcastle.
Jorginho puts his foot into it just ahead of Innocent. Innocent then shielding the ball as it came back his way and finding Berget right hand side on halfway. Havertz stabbed one up forward toward the Nassi, then Innocent plays it forward. Touch now from Silva.
Brilliant touch from Silva. The ball's coming to him and he's killed it stone dead with a little bit of backspin and just plays it calmly. Honestly, it's a joy to watch the man.
Here comes Hudson-Odoi again, seen plenty of the ball in the first half of the first half. Plays it back to Christensen. Christensen clipping one out left hand side square to Rudiger. Rudiger feeds it into Alonso, back to goal here, shielding it from Innocent, goes back to Rudiger. Space out on the right flank at the moment where Ziyech is stationed. It might come to him now from Christensen.
Have a look at where our two wing backs are. Really interesting. They are playing inside forward, right up the centre forward. So really unusual tucking in that high up the field. I mean, that's not a fluke. That's exactly what Thomas Tuchel's asked them to do.
Because presumably he knows that he's got three incredibly stubborn central defenders and a world-class goalkeeper who can deal with what Malmo are going to throw.
Yeah, it's this inverted wing backs, right? So it's a kind of sort of modern thing. You invert and go inside a couple of times in a game. They spend the whole time now. I'm watching it. Who's our further forward player? It's Alonso.
And here's Azpilicueta, who's also part of the attack. Gives it to Ziyech, right hand side. Azpilicueta now inside the penalty area, looking to cut back across. Hit the defender, goes behind for Chelsea's fourth corner of the first half.
That is an utter nightmare trying to mark that. If you're a defender, you know who your man is. Okay, if it's not going to be a Havertz, Ziyech or Callum's got. Wait a minute, Alonso, what are you doing in there? And of course, we know recently that Azpilicueta, a couple of games, we watched him thinking, I don't know where you're playing now. And it's a bit like that already tonight.
Ziyech, one arm in the air, is the man to deliver the set piece again. Over it comes to the edge of the 6-yard box. Loftus-Cheek got something on that, couldn't steer it goalward. Rakita let it run behind for a goal kick.
That's a great ball, isn't it? I mean, we do sometimes, I'm not team just Chelsea. If you look at a lot of the Premier League teams, the one thing in the game that hasn't really improved over the years is corner kicks. If anything, they've got worse. But that was a brilliant ball, and now Ruben goes and attacks it, gets a head onto it, but it's whipped in such a way there is no way the goalkeeper can come for it, but it's only 4 yards out in front of the goal. That's about delivery, it's about spin, it's about whip. It's a great corner.
Darling puts his foot through the ball and sends it up to halfway, met by Rudiger. Innocent trying to get a touch on it, but Jorginho beat him to it. Now here's Loftus-Cheek, always taken out by Rakita. He won't get many more of those kind of tackles without getting a booking. Free kick will suffice this time.
He's hurt himself more than he's hurt Ruben, but I mean, again, you talk about last season, that's a booking right away, that's a yellow card right away, and that's your back to hurt himself. The thing is, there's quite a lot of Ruben Loftus-Cheek, so if you're going to take him out, you're going to have to take his full body weight behind him, and I think he's hurt himself a little bit there, Rakip.
Loftus-Cheek knee to the shin where the shin pad should be, but like a lot of modern players, Rakip makes only a token gesture towards wearing a shin pad, I think it'd be fair to say.
I must admit, I felt exactly the same way in my career.
It seems all players hate them, doesn't it?
Oh, they're awful. Do you know how often in your career you actually get kicked in the shins? You don't have like pads anywhere else. You actually very rarely. You need toe pads these days.
Here's Havertz just inside the penalty area. A leg off for Ziyech, who takes a shot, hit a defender about 6 yards out. Was Havertz. And now here's Jorginho, brought it down from the sky beautifully. Christensen, right side, near the edge of the penalty area, gave it to Azpilicueta. Defender came in, put a touch in, and knocked it out for a throw.
I think Hakim Ziyech can't believe over the last 2 games he's not got the ball in the back of the net yet. Because decent possessions, he's done the right things, he's made the space, he's got the shots, and defenders are just getting in the way. Goalkeepers are just saving her. He's unluckily offside once or twice as well, so it seems a matter of time before he opens his account for this campaign.
Nanasi played one into the left channel, meanwhile, not a good pass, but not a good back pass either. Mendy did well to prevent it going for a corner, but he did have to put it out for a throw, which is taken quickly. Chance to put the ball into the penalty area and look for Berget maybe here, but that opportunity was declined by Rex. He is innocent now. Malmo have been forced all the way back into their own half.
There is a decent argument to say 26 minutes in, and this is maybe their best piece of possession they've had in the whole game so far. Because they've had it for about 20 seconds. It's been really tough for Malmo, but give them credit. They've kept defending, they've kept on working, they've kept chasing, and at the moment they're still 0-0.
Well, John Alonso there from Cholak, and no foul given. Cholak can cross it into the penalty area to Nanasi. Nanasi trying to get his shot off. Christensen blocked him. No foul though. And eventually he gets it clear up to Havertz, but Havertz gets it back and goes all the way back to Darling.
When's the last time you've seen a shoulder charge like that? That's very old school. The referee let that one go. I mean, the ball's kind of in the vicinity, but he just went straight for the player. There's been no attempt to go for the ball. He's just taken him out. So very unusual there. The referee didn't give a free kick, however he has now given another free kick to Malmo.
This one's on halfway. Berget took one in the face from Alonso, who's just jumping and obviously led with his elbow, but not with the intention to hurt. We're just taking a look at the claim again. Thinking that for a penalty, I don't think.
Absolutely not. He's actually got himself. I mean, he's basically falling over. He's not in control of the ball. And he certainly hasn't been control of his feet either in the Nasi, so no penalty kick, not even a question about that.
27 minutes and a bit played, 0-0 between Malmo and Chelsea. We've just seen this stat that says Chelsea have had 71% possession so far in the first half.
Is that all? It was 80% against Newcastle over the game of the weekend, but you keep on doing it and eventually the opposition will tire because it is exhausting chasing, and if Chelsea can keep on doing this, and remember, it's only less than half an hour gone, but we've got players who can bring on it, who can, with the freshness and the liveliness, they can, ask different questions as the game develops. But it's all about keep on asking the questions, and eventually just wait for somebody to turn off.
Here's Jorginho playing the ball into Loftus-Cheek in midfield. He can cross halfway here. Loftus-Cheek played it early for Havertz. Great pass as well. Havertz through one-on-one with the goalkeeper here, and Darling made the save. Havertz was just there with him, actually, just able to put him off as he went to take the shot, and in the end it was a pretty routine stop for Darling.
Yeah, but did that remind you of a certain goal that happened in Porto a little while back? He just tried to clip it over the goalkeeper, didn't manage to quite get it there, but to be fair, great break, brilliant play by Ruben after getting a fantastic ball by Jorginho.
Here's Rudiger, going to go for goal from 25 yards, as is his custom. It was blocked easily, and eventually goes out of play for a Chelsea throw halfway inside Malmo's half left-hand side. Alonso will quickly toss it back to Thiago Silva.
I think that was by a distance our best move of the game so far, wasn't it? Jorginho spotted the space, and when Ruben goes into that space, breaks past midfielders, breaks lines, that's when he looks at his very best. Lovely ball through, just couldn't quite get it over the goalkeeper Darling, who came out quickly, give him his due.
Rudiger on the ball again for Chelsea here. The player who's not scored a Champions League goal. His ball over the top for Alonso, left-hand side, near the dead ball line. Berget came in, put his foot in, knocked it behind for a throw.
Pretty confident in space behind that back line, aren't we? The amount of little dink chips over the top, and again, it seems something that the team have worked on. Certainly we've had a look at the way they played. If they come out at all, we just dink over the top, believing we've got the pace.
Here's Rudiger. Plays it left-hand side for Alonso again. So much of the game being spent in Malmo's half of the field. Rudiger, square pass to Jorginho, just over halfway. Some pass out to the right now, Spilicueta, trying to connect with it on the volley. Couldn't send it back into play. It goes behind for a goal kick.
A few good chances now, but we're having a little look at that ball by Ruben there, and it's actually inch perfect. It's a beautiful one. The guy does all the right things, trying to get in front of the centre back, but just gets the ball caught up a little bit in his feet, So he is half falling when he tries to dink, but he gets himself in a position that he can get the dink away. But he's touched just before the last one. We're shooting at the goalkeeper. He knew that he'd taken it a little bit too wide, didn't he?
Good header one by Silva against Cholak. Meanwhile, here's Christensen. Azpilicueta took a touch to get away from Rex. Plays infield to Havertz. Touch from him against the defender. Wilson goes down to play for a Chelsea throw. We've had just over half an hour. Chelsea by far the better of the two teams, but yet to make the breakthrough. Ziyech. Here's Jorginho under pressure, had to get rid of it quickly, which he did to Christensen. Picked up then by Thiago Silva. There's Rudiger, plays it to Alonso left-hand side. Got Hudson-Odoi outside of him, chooses to use it. Hudson-Odoi looked to turn it around the corner, back to Alonso first time, but havertz knocked out.
He's furious, Marcus there. He's having a word with Callum, but I think he's just upset because he knew he was through there and managed to flick the ball into that space, but he keeps on running, he keeps on getting into that area.
Christensen can have a go from range here, or the goalkeeper Darlin lost it and Alonso tried to stab in the rebound, but havertz was just there in front of him. Well, I'm going to be kind, Pat, and saying the pitch is cutting up quite badly, but the handling from Darlin has left a lot to be desired on more than one occasion.
Right, every single time you get a shot in, you got to follow it in there, because that's when that one he really should. I mean, it's bouncing just in front of them. They always say the goalkeepers don't like them. So what? It's straight at you. You need to kill that. You need to make sure that nothing comes off you. And as you say, that's twice it's done that. So every time from now on. Oh, by the way, love it, that play there by Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
Wow, he just volleyed it over Innocent's head, and then as it came down, he pushed it out right hand side to Ziyech. Ziyech though tackled, it goes out of play for a throw in. Then with the edge of the penalty area right hand side, Pena got the challenge in.
So when you see Ruben do that, and it is about, it takes 2 and 3 players out of the play with either a pass or his power or a little bit of skill like that. I mean, that is his one fantastic thing. He's very, very special at. He's done it a couple of times already in this game, and I just feel if he keeps on doing that as this game develops, it will create more chances. And there's a good argument that he's looking about our best player at the moment.
Malmo supporters still in good voice. See if they can maintain that as and when Chelsea score, which feels like a matter of when, not if, at the moment. It's Hudson-Odoi to play forward first time for Havertz. He stumbled, wouldn't have gotten the end of that anyway. It was over hit.
You mentioned the pitch there, and actually you are right. This isn't like a Premier League pitch. It's a wee bit more old school than that. There is a little bit more of a bobble. There's quite a few players slipping over, and it does play like the old-fashioned pitches. It takes a little bit to get used to for the players who don't play in that every week.
Playing like a pitch in Sweden in November, you might say. Here is Pena inside the centre circle, the Peruvian in midfield for Malmo. Plays the ball over the top, looking for the run of Cholak, but too much on that run through to Mendy.
Well, it's very noticeable again there. I think Thiago Silva gave him a couple of yards and done him for peace. So whatever you say about Thiago Silva's age, I don't think his body is that age actually. It's incredible that he just looks so comfortable, but decent enough pace there, and he needed it.
Christensen going out wide right to Azpilicueta. Chelsea on the attack again here. Fed it down the line for Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek came and missed it. It's come out for Alonso. Not much angle for a shot. He's going to thump one anyway. Again, Darlin can't hold it, but it fell to Berget, luckily for him, and he gets it to relative safety, although Alonso will pick it up and go back to Rudiger. Darlin came off at half-time a couple of weeks ago. We were told because of an injury, but his replacement Diawara looked a little bit more comfortable than he did, and so far tonight Darlin has struggled to keep a hold of the ball when shots have been fired in at him. Here's Thiago Silva chipping the pass up towards Ziyech, looked to be in an offside position maybe. Flag stayed down though. Almost certainly felt he was. Loftus-Cheek barges into his man to try and win it. It's a free kick.
I think Ruben knew that if he goes for that ball, he's going to take a lot of the player as well there. The referee's been quite lenient in this game so far, and I think he's going to be lenient once more. Ruben's going away, walking away from it, but he's left a little bit there on. It was Innocent, was it? Who was Innocent on that occasion? Just talking about Darling, I think he's a long shot for man of the match at the moment. Even though he's got a clean sheet, he's not covered himself in glory at all.
Just seeing that again, there's kind of backing into Loftus-Cheek towering over him and just whacked him in the small of the back, I think, which is why the Nigerian is down at the moment.
It's one of those moments when you lean down to pick some daisies and you get hit by the express in the back of the neck. You get battered there, didn't you?
Well, Ziyech has won it back here, just inside his own.
Okay, once again, they're playing a high line now and again. I think that should suit us.
Here's Rakib coming forward at the moment on Malmo with Berger. He can cross into the penalty area here. He's looking for Nanasi. It's too deep for him. It's going to quite ahead. Shots at goal already in this match. Half of them have been on target. They have to find a breakthrough goal.
Yeah, but they've got themselves in other positions as well. I mean, that was almost a breakthrough there. They've got themselves in really good positions, and you know, saying before the game, we'd love to get an early goal. Well, we've not got the early goal, but we've certainly done just about everything else.
Here's Ziyech again. He's deep inside his own half, over on the right-hand side. Played a pass looking for Havertz. Should have been better than it was. Eventually goes out for a throw-in. Ziyech is saying that was Havertz's fault, but for not being in the right position.
No, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. Just as we're chatting there, yeah, Havertz was going through on the right-hand side. There was a clip on. I think do you know there was a clip that he's tried so hard to get out of the way of the defender there? Would be a bit harsh on him if he was penalised for that. I think the referee's been fair. I have to say, I think he's been okay so far.
Chelsea know him well. He did the Napoli and Barcelona home ties in the run to glory in 2012. Did Felix Bragg. He did the game against Atletico. Technically away from home last season. Played on neutral territory too. Here's Tony Rudiger. He's on the halfway line, left-hand side. Chelsea looking for a breakthrough in the final 7 minutes of the first half here. 0-0 is the score. Here's Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta going back to Christensen.
Just very noticeable, Matt, that their fans are helping them a lot. Really helping them, because that bit of time you think they're beginning to get tired now. And as soon as they look a little bit leggy, these fans just go wild and lift their teams again. But you can only do that a certain amount of times, and it's amazing how much that changes if they lose a goal. You know, the fans will get quieter, but it doesn't quite help the players just as much. They have been doing a lot of chasing, but they're still looking fairly sprightly.
Yeah, they are supporters in the truest sense, aren't they, at the moment? Here's Havertz touching it off for Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi, well, it was Innocent who got the touch to send it back to Havertz. Havertz has crossed into the penalty area. It's come a long way for Azpilicueta. He tried to find either Hudson-Odoi or Alonso, and in the end it was betwixt and between and cleared away for a throw. Yeah, but it's stretching now, isn't it? It's really stretching the game. And, you know, they're getting a bit excitable. Malmo, they are trying to break there, but every time they break, we've got width, we've got players coming from the back. As I speak to you now, Alonso's our furthest forward player. He thinks he's a centre forward today, doesn't he, really? If he's not left winger. I mean winger, not wing back. Azpilicueta crossing in toward Havertz, edge of the 6-yard box, won't come in, but it's dropped for Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi trying to get his shot off, goes past a few challengers, offloaded it to Jorginho. Here's Alonso, edge of the penalty area. No room for a shot for him, so he gave it back to Jorginho. Now Rudiger will switch play inside right for Christensen. Christensen out to Ziyech, touched off first time cleverly from him to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta with the cross coming in, and headed away by Berger. Now here's Ziyech, right hand side. Ziyech going to put in a left footed cross, looking for Alonso back post, and good defending again from Berger to head it behind for corner number 5. Utter desperation from the defence now. Crosses are coming in from the left, from the right. They're finding massive gaps, and that just shows you that, you know, eventually you will get space. If you keep the ball that long, the opposition will get stretched. We're asking them all sorts of questions now, and if any one of their opposition players actually goes and turns off, then they're completely stuffed, because we've got so many players in that box there. We will get a chance, and we're very likely to score. Ziyech is going to take the corner again. This time it's from the near side, the left. Outswinging delivery from him, and a powerful attempt that has come back to Ziyech. The defender might have got the touch on that actually, and it goes behind eventually off Ziyech's boot behind for a goal kick. A bit disappointing for Hakim there. He trapped the ball well when it came back out. It's a lot bit too intricate with the dribble. Didn't quite work. Had it out and play himself.
But just that last 3 or 4 minutes there was just, we turned up the pressure as if to say, look, we need a goal. We don't need a goal, we would really like a goal before half time. And we keep on coming closer and closer and closer. But as long as we don't score that goal, I think the opposition will still be healthy.
Chelsea's next goal, by the way, will be their 500th in European competition. They need 2 more to reach 2,000 since Roman Abramovich took charge in all competitions. Throw in here, we're inside the final 5 minutes of the first half, still goalless. Alonso tosses it to Rudiger, he plays it across for Andreas Christensen. Christensen will move it out right hand side for Azpilicueta. Rex quickly came across to engage him, so Azpilicueta played it to Jorginho. First time ball over the top and down the line for Loftus-Cheek. Pena at his back, Pena pushes him over. Ball goes behind. And the decision is goal kick.
Ruben done that thing where every time a defender goes towards the line and stops and gets a little shove, the defender gets a free kick. Ruben was the forward, did exactly the same there, but he didn't get a free kick because he's the forward. I don't know why the rules are different from a forward or a defender in that situation, but they are.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things that happens in football that we just kind of accept.
But there's no rule that's written down that said you're allowed to stop and be pushed if you're a defender. And everyone, by the way, our defenders are good at it too. Everyone does it. You try that if you're a forward. You can hear a wee bit of bitterness in my voice, can't you? Anytime I ever try it, nope, you don't get a free kick there.
3 minutes for Chelsea to find a goal before half time here. Here's Ziyech right hand side. Field to Havertz, got hooked up with Ziyech again. Havertz will try and win it back for Ziyech. The referee says that was fouled by Jorginho on innocent.
Yeah, tiny wee bits of frustration coming through from Chelsea. I mean, I'm looking at Callum, and Callum would love to get on the ball a little bit more. He's got very, very little to do in this game, and sometimes that's just not your fault. He's pulling himself out really, really wide. It's allowed Marcus Alonso to go in there, so there's a lot of selfless movement from Callum Hudson-Odoi at the moment, but it means he's not getting on the ball in the most dangerous areas at the moment. But on his mind just now that Christian Pulisic is on the bench, he's desperate to get on and get his name in the score sheet and get some minutes.
Yep, we haven't seen Pulisic in a Chelsea shirt since the opening day of the season in the Premier League when he scored against Crystal Palace, but he is available tonight.
I mean, he looked brilliant that day. He looked absolutely phenomenal that day, and it's, when he comes back, what another decision that has to be made by Thomas Tuchel, but good decisions.
Here's Hudson-Odoi now, he's got the chance to carry it forward, left hand side. He's it infield for Jorginho, first time layoff from him to Rudiger. Touch from Loftus-Cheek to Jorginho, played it against Malmo man, but it's come back Chelsea's way. Christensen will move it out to Azpilicueta, right hand side level with the edge of the box, looking for a give and go with Ziyech. Ziyech has overhit the return pass, and Azpilicueta can't keep it in.
Yeah, it's quite surprising that, but it's one of those ones where normally, at the bridge, you'd expect them to be able to do that 1-2 and time it well. It just seems to be zipping off this ground in a slightly different way at the moment. There is the odd little bobble here. I mean, the pitch is not terrible. I mean, it is absolutely not a terrible pitch. They're just playing slightly differently, and it's kind of spooked us once or twice. But even so, we're getting towards half time now, and even though Chelsea have had the vast majority of the game so far, the vast majority of the chances, I think Malmo will probably go in slightly happier because they've managed to survive.
Yeah, it was 2-0 down and virtually game over at half time a couple of weeks ago. Cholak's taken a blow to the head here, so we've got a brief hold up in place so he can get some attention. He was challenging for the ball. Rudiger came in with an inadvertent forearm smash, maybe to knock him into the back of Loftus-Cheek actually.
To be fair, I'm not having that one. Absolutely not having that. He's holding his face, he's holding the front of his face. Nothing and no one went near the front of his face. I think Cholak, big strong centre forward there, I think he's getting a wee bit frustrated that he's got no change whatsoever at the Chelsea defence so far.
Play restarts with a drop ball, and Pena with a good ball through to Cholak, who hit a volley from about 16 yards out and couldn't find the target with it. Not an easy one dropping over his shoulder, but as good a chance as Malmo have had.
Notice I said so far very quickly there, because if you see he's got nothing, you know the next thing is he's going to get half a chance, and he did get half a chance there. He's not got it right. I mean, he's got it clean, but with his shin, and that's not going to be good enough to get. But that's his first moment there, you know, and give him a little bit of a lift. And certainly maybe his team as well. They're going in at half time, and the last thing in their mind may well be maybe the best chance they've had the game so far.
Yeah, just one added minute was signalled, and we're halfway through that now. And he plays the ball up toward halfway, but only onto the head of Innocent. A bit of momentum for Malmo just now. Here's Hudson-Odoi. It's back to Alonso. Alonso trying to get away from Berger, just hammers it up the line just to get it away toward Havertz, but Nielsen able to swoosh it back into Chelsea's penalty area. Picked up by Thiago Silva. And there is the half-time whistle. It is goalless between Malmo and Chelsea at the break. I guess Thomas Tuchel, Pat, is just going to say to his players, keep going. It's been everything but the finish so far.
Yeah, got in fantastic areas, particularly for crossing the ball, getting enough players in the box. Thomas has been talking about that a lot recently, about getting a lot of players in the box. That has not been a problem, but it's getting that final ball in, just waiting for one of their players to turn off. You know, probably leave it, I guess, another 15 minutes or so to see if it's worthwhile changing. Maybe we could do with just a little bit more explosive pace up front, and that makes you think that Pulisic may well get an opportunity at some point.
Goalless at the break in Sweden, then Malmo 0, Chelsea 0. I hand you back to Joe and Abby and Dan.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Pat, for brilliant first half commentary of Chelsea Malmo 0-0 over in Sweden at the moment. It's been quite, I suppose, quite a cagey first half, Dan, from both teams. It does scream a little bit. It's exactly the same as the Newcastle game. You know, there needs to be a level of patience, and the opportunity will arise.
Yeah, Malmo have kind of restricted us to quite a few clear-cut chances. We've threatened and kind of got to the final third, and they've kind of sat off and sat there, and we haven't been able to really cause them too much hassle. If I'm totally honest, I can't think of a real must-score chance that we've had. It's a bit of a stalemate a little bit. I guess we just have to be patient. It's still a Champions League side. You've got to show them enough respect. They're at home, so I'm sure something will have to happen in the second half. It has to.
We've been in this position before this season, even, you know, like we kind of alluded to it a minute ago, but it does feel very similar to the Newcastle game.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
A little bit of patience. The opposition are defensively very astute, very, very well set up. Did a kind of half chance, like Dan said, not really any clear-cut chance.
No.
The Havertz one, I think, a little bit maybe.
The Ruben
header's a bit loopy, but there's not been something that's a standout chance. I suppose that'll be the disappointment from Thomas Tuchel. You've not created anything that you go, we should have taken the lead there.
Yeah, exactly. No clear-cut chances. They've just been hard to break down, really. They have contained us a lot, but we are finding space. There's a lot of crosses that have been coming in, so I'm just hoping that we make the most of them in the second half. I feel like as soon as we've got one goal, it's going to be like, okay, we've got this. But yeah, they have done well, to be honest.
We all kind of said before the game, we've got plenty of players in the squad to change it. This is one that's getting a lot of praise on social media. Ruben Loftus-Cheek has looked really sharp so far. Only it looks a matter of time before Chelsea get their breakthrough. It's from Ryan.
Can we just say, by the way, that volley he did just over the player.
Oh my word, yeah. The way
absolutely beautiful stuff. We'll watch that on repeat for a while.
I think Matt's description of it on commentary was the best one. Where it was like a volley over the top of a player. Like it was a looped volley control.
How very
and then
dare
he sprayed
you.
a pass up. Phenomenal player. So far, Ruben Loftus-Cheek in the starring role tonight. He's been great. Love that from him. He's that type of player, Dan, that you feel the more football he gets under his belt, the better he is, because he needs that. He needs a run of games because he finds those little sharp pockets, doesn't he? He finds that little bit of sharpness, that little first touch becomes crisper, and he's a phenomenal footballer.
Yeah, some players have industry and they need to play to be fit. He is such a silky footballer that he needs the football at his feet as much as possible, whether it's in a game or in a run of weeks. So he's been silky again. He's just great to watch. You know, some people do it the ugly way. Everything he does, it looks graceful. It looks beautiful. You know, it looks just super comfortable. So hopefully, at some point in the second half, he's able to create something that has that results in a goal.
Well, is Cobham academy teammate has also been getting a bit of praise online from Josh. Malmo well set up in terms of frustrating Chelsea. Chelsea moving the ball really well though. They've been very good on the ball this side from London. Callum Hudson-Odoi has been sharp and direct when he has got the ball. It's been entertaining, high tempo game. Callum Hudson-Odoi is another one, Abby, where Chelsea fans are screaming for him to have a run of games because every time he does play, he does what Callum does, which is he wants to get on the ball, he wants to drive and make things happen. He's an exciting footballer. Yeah,
he's so happy to take people on, create chances. He's so quick, he's so skillful. He's an amazing footballer to watch, isn't he? I'm so glad that him and Ruben are kind of both getting a chance at the moment because they're both absolutely phenomenal footballers.
That's exactly it as well, Dan. You know, they're both brilliant footballers. It's difficult to navigate your way into a starting berth at Chelsea because of the sheer number of players that they've got to play. You know, you could have 3 or 4 brilliant weeks. If you have one off week, you might be out for Saturday. The level of the competition is there. But with Ruben and Callum, it feels like they're both putting in consistent levels of performance. And I suppose with Callum, he probably deserved more goals and assists return than what he's actually delivered on. You know, if you look at the stats on paper, it doesn't really show how impressive he's been in game.
Now, he's been very, very good. The numbers don't show the full story of Callum. Same way some numbers flatter some players and make it seem like they've had a much bigger impact than they have. But when it's all said and done, we are the best team in Europe right now. We're champions of Europe, one of the best clubs in the world, certainly probably the team that nobody in the world wants to play. This is the hardest and highest level that you can play at. So there's always going to be, competition for places, and if you don't show up for a couple of weeks, you might find yourself sitting on a bench for a few more weeks. So it's tough. I think people think that you can just lace up some boots and go and have a great game absolutely every week, but it's not how it works. And fortunately for us, we've got so many different players that are able to put in good performances. And at the moment, Callum and Ruben, they're playing out of their skin.
It's a big game tonight as well. You know, we spoke about before the game. It's a game that Chelsea are expected to win, but big games stack up at this football club. They happen all over the place. A big game that happened for the Chelsea women's team on Sunday went very well indeed. Have a look at this.
First touch around the corner for Erin Cuthbert. It's a good run from Kerr as well. She's got lots of space here. Can she find a finish? It's Sam Kerr. Oh, what an intervention from Jill Scott. Looked like a certain goal for Chelsea there. Sent the corner in. Here's Erin Cuthbert. Oh, how about that? Beat the goalkeeper at the near post, and Chelsea take the lead right on the midway point of the first half. And it's the Blues who strike first in the semi-final. Another goal for Cuthbert. What a season she's having. In off the post. Huge throw in from Carter. Cuthbert held it on. City have made a mess of getting this clear. This is Melanie Leupolz. It's gone in. Second goal for Chelsea. They've come within the space of 5 minutes. Taib won't want to see it again. Manchester City's third choice goalkeeper ought to have done better. But Chelsea not bothered about that. Kirby. Lovely weighted pass for Sam Kerr. That would have finished it. It's a good save from Taib. They do not pass yet for City. Cuthbert at the far post. The connection she was looking for. It's all Chelsea though. This patched up City side really struggling. Corner went deep, headed back across goal by Millie Bright. England shot just about dealt with. Ingle, lovely chip pass. Fleming. Bethany England in the middle. And she sends Chelsea to Wembley. Another goal for England on this ground, one of her favourites. And the Blues are in the final for sure now. In the final minute of the game, Bethany England heads in. City 0, Chelsea 3. Ruthless from the Blues. City looking for a goal that would be scant consolation at this point. His header was more up than away. That's a decent strike, and what a save to touch it onto the post from Anne-Catherine Berger. That hardly had anything to do, but that was magnificent from the Chelsea goalkeeper. It's rare that you win 3-0 and we're all going,
that save at the end.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But obviously into the final of the FA Cup. This is last season's FA Cup as well because of COVID and the break and everything like that. So yeah, it's technically last season's FA Cup final, but FA Cup final in less than a month, isn't it? First weekend in December. I mean, Emma Hayes, straight after the game, I loved Emma Hayes saying, of course we're to win it. We're to win every game. We do that. But no messing at all. But that's the standard that we've set as a football club in general.
Yeah.
But Emma Hayes' side, just relentless. So good to watch and just put every team to the sword at the moment, it feels like.
Absolutely relentless. And we talk about, the depth of our men's side, but bloody hell. Just like you bring on Beth England from the bench, one of the best strikers, that beautiful header, to make it 3-0. Erin Cuthbert's kind of really in the side. She wasn't in it as much last season, probably having one of her best seasons, So the depth of that squad's absolutely amazing as well, and their mentality is to win everything. Winning just in Chelsea's DNA is what we do.
And we mentioned her earlier, but Pernilla Harder didn't play a part, and then another player to come in, one of the best players in the world. That's the depth that we've got. It kind of relates to tonight, Dan, in that aspect, and someone potentially we'll see a little bit more of this in the second half, hopefully, is Christian Pulisic. We mentioned before the game, back involved in the squad. Don't know how close he is, how match fit he is, but he's a player with an unbelievable amount of quality, and maybe this game suits him.
Yeah, I think it does. I think it's crying for someone to find small spaces and try and wiggle their way through a defence. It needs something a bit smaller. So I think Pulisic can come on. Hopefully he's trained hard and he's sharp enough to kind of get on and just drive at people, because I think he's been missing for a while. We forget how good he was under Frank Lampard and how important he was. It really felt like if he wasn't playing that we were a weakened side. So when he comes on, hopefully we see a Christian Pulisic ready to return to full form.
Like Dan said, you kind of forget, and I know we keep talking about it, and it's going to be one of those phases that nostalgically we're always going to look back on. But straight after lockdown, Christian Pulisic, you could make an argument for being the best player in the Premier League. He was that good.
Yeah.
And we know that he's got it in him, and he's just been desperately lucky with injury. And he's the type of player, like we said about Ruben and Callum, you just really want to get a run of games and allow him the opportunity to get back to that level that he can perform at. And maybe tonight is the starting place for him.
I hope so, because we know he's such a talented player. For me, it's the ball at his feet. He is just absolutely incredible. Quite Hazard-esque the way he can take on people. Incredible dribbler, amazing finisher as well. I just hope that he's going to be getting back to his best, because his best is frightening.
And we forget as well, Dan. Played a big part in the Champions League run last year. I remember the away game around Madrid as well was so important with that one. And then obviously he scored on the opening day of the season against Crystal Palace. So he's still around, and these are numbers and performances that some players will dine out on for the rest of their life. But Christian Pulisic is so good that they're kind of just one of many, because he's of that level.
Yes, and also we're so good that we're able to replace him being out, and we've got other wingers that can do such a good job that we forget we even need Christian Pulisic. So hopefully he comes back in and he finds the form that he was in at the end of last season, because he's been in frightening form. Even in the Champions League final, he was causing City a lot of issues and almost got himself on the score sheet. So hopefully we get him on around 60th minute. Tuchel, if you're listening, get him on with 60, and hopefully we get the goal.
And obviously a win in the UEFA Youth League earlier on today, which is big, and it's at 5-0. I mean, it's about that pathway and about setting that up. Harvey Vale's obviously in the squad today, but you look at that as an opportunity for players that are going. We know that now there is that progression plan, there is that opportunity to step up and be involved. If you're beating teams in the Champions League 5-0, no matter what stage, no matter what level you are, that's such a promising place for the football club to be.
Oh, absolutely. We have got the next generation of ballers ready to go. And like you say, these players can see that they can actually make it into the first team at some point. I mean, the class of Cobham tonight already doing bits. So, what an exciting time, honestly. Chelsea, we're just good, They're going
to have to change the name of the league, to sponsored by Cobham.
It's absolutely staggering anyway. Really, really are. Time to hear from Trafalgar.
You can feel it. The preparation. The thrill of anticipation. Because now, it's time. Time to go. Time to play. Time to win. With Travago and Chelsea FC.
So obviously the second game in the group is Juventus versus Zenit a little bit later on tonight, Dan. I suppose you want to get this game done so you can have a little look at that. But if we do win tonight and Juventus, we predict are going to beat Zenit St Petersburg. If they do that as well, we need 1 point for the final 2 games. So Chelsea put themselves in a really promising position. Don't need to panic in the second half. The goal will come. I suppose it is about being composed and calm and just maintaining what we're doing.
I feel like we've seen this so many times, even this season. 0-0. It looks like it's a bit flat. It needs a goal from somewhere, but we usually get it. So I'm hoping we're just patient. Malmo haven't caused us, major problems. They've stuck around, but as games go on, quality tends to show itself a bit more. So hopefully we get the win, and then we can kind of relax a little bit. I'm not even really too fussed about topping the group. You don't really know who you're going to draw anymore. We're the team no one wants to play. It's not really the other way around.
Yeah, completely right, mate. Completely right. And obviously, not too long now until we hand back over. In fact, let's do it now because the teams are coming out. So it's time for the second half commentary in the company of Matt Davies-Adams and Pat Nedden.
Welcome back to our coverage of Malmo versus Chelsea from the Aleda Stadium. 0-0 at half-time between the Blues and the other Blues, if you like. Chelsea utterly dominant in every regard, apart from putting the ball into the net. Pat, you said just as we were getting toward half-time we might see Christian Pulisic before too long. Do you think we're looking at the standard 10-15 minutes? If nothing changes, you can make a sub, or the fact you can make 5 of them in the Champions League maybe means we might see it a bit sooner?
It tends to happen. It happens on 59 to 61 minutes. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case on this occasion as well. Specifically, if we don't score a goal, you think, well, wait a minute. If not scored a goal, you need to mix it up a little bit, ask certain different questions. There's no doubt in my mind that Thomas Tuchel feels there's space behind the defence. So if you're going to do that with Pulisic, who's got great pace, you're going to try and use that situation there. So at the moment, it's going okay. Creating chances, half chances, not golden chances. But now's the time to really turn it on and turn the screws you possibly can, because we don't want to be giving it the last 20 minutes 0-0.
No changes for either side then. So Chelsea, Mendy in goal, back three, Christensen, Silva and Rudiger. Alonso now Spilicueta the wing backs, Loftus-Cheek and Jorginho in the middle. Havertz, the nominal striker with Hudson-Odoi and Ziyech either side of him. And for the home side, Darlin is the goalkeeper. And then it is Ahmed Hodzic, Nielsen and Brawson as a back three. Berget and Rex are their wing backs. Rakip, Pena and Innocent in midfield. And just behind Cholak is Nanasi, offside here against Callum Hudson-Odoi. Tight, but just about right.
Yeah, it's definitely offside. There was a horrible moment there where his heel was trodden on, in the Achilles area, and we know that Callum's had problems there before, and I think he got a little bit of a fright with it as well. But watching him closely there, he seems to be moving well again. But that was a horrible injury he got, and he's very, very happy he got over that, because a lot of players find that difficult to go over and get an explosive pace back.
Yeah, Loftus-Cheek with the similar problem, albeit that the issue was worse for him than for Hudson-Odoi. Here's Christensen. Now Hudson-Odoi, who is right-hand side at the start of the second half. He is dispossessed there, and Malmo can look to bring it forward with Rakip. He plays it infield to Nanasi. Nanasi goes backward to Pena. Malmo, I guess, is similar to the Chelsea team, talking in a lot of ways. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, hoping to get the odd breakaway. If they get the odd breakaway, and maybe take a chance if it comes their way. So the manager will be delighted with that, because, been beaten 4-0 in the last game. By the way, brilliant play by Ruben there.
Chelsea come forward, but Loftus-Cheek unable to get to it second time around.
Well, he's played the ball there that, if it gets through, not unlike the pass he played in the first half, it went through to Kai Havertz. But this time the on ball was actually wider than that, and tried the really difficult one and didn't quite come off. And it's a shame that, because that's a kind of really good position that maybe 4 or 5 times in this game he's broken the lines, he's going on towards the last line of defence, trying to play slip balls through. He just needs one of them to get through, doesn't he?
Darley, the goalkeeper for Malmo, has the ball in his hands. They're pretty dreadful in the Champions League group stages. It's their third appearance. They finished bottom of the group on both previous times. They've won 1, lost 5 of their 6 matches on each occasion. And in terms of their last 6 games, the aggregate score is 28-0 against. So anything other than a Chelsea win would be a big upset here. Here's Spilicueta, right hand side. inside his own half, trying to charge up to halfway, but showed a bit too much of that to Peña, who was able to dispossess him, and then Hudson-Odoi puts it out for a throw.
Yeah, and I do actually think I will be very surprised if Thomas Tuchel leaves it any more than 15 minutes, because looking at the start of the second half here, the more you think about it, you think, well, wait a minute, they've stopped Jorginho getting as much of the ball as he would like to get, so they've done a decent job there. It seems to have affected their ability to completely control the game at the tempo we want to. Yes, totally on top. Yes, getting half chances, but controlling it in a way that you think you're going to run away with it. Well, it's not quite looked with that yet, has it? However, as we keep on saying, one goal and that all changes.
As well as Kepa and Bettinelli, Chelsea have on the bench Barkley, Chalobah, Chilwell, James, Sarr, Pulisic, Saul and young Harvey Vale. Ball cleared away toward Cholak, who's trying to win it back from Christensen. Great defending from Christensen though. Cholak not giving up. Christensen goes down. No free kick, but it goes out for a Chelsea throw. Taken to Hudson-Odoi on halfway. 4 players around him at the moment. Hudson-Odoi, and he couldn't find a way out. Here's Rakib. Ziyech looking to put the pressure on to win it back. He's done well to do that. Rudiger trying to take over. Ziyech is on the ground. Chelsea free kick.
Honestly, sometimes you watch Rakib and you wonder if he's playing the same sport. A lot of grabbing and grappling, and you get a hold of Ziyech and drags him down there, and then he gets a hold of Rudiger, does exactly the same thing.
Rudiger would have made a mental note of that.
Yes, I think so.
Here he is on the ball. The Chelsea defender goes to Thiago Silva inside the centre circle. 5 minutes of the second half. Still Chelsea looking for the breakthrough here. Now Loftus-Cheek couldn't turn away from Innocent. Christensen put his foot in and won it back. Loftus-Cheek has it again. Here's Azpilicueta right side. Played it straight to Peña. Peña then off to Rex. He's just kicked it straight out to play. Chelsea throwing halfway.
There's just tiny wee bits of frustration beginning to come in, and certainly they're closing down really well at the start of the second half. Malmo, they will do. They've had a bit of a rest, get a bit of lift from that. You have to live with that and be able to realise that that's going to fall apart a little bit if you keep on asking them questions. By the way, lovely bit of play there.
Get the right wing back with a wonderful trick to take him away from one player. It's come for Rakib in field. He's nudged over by Rudiger. It's broken for Cholak though, all on his own right hand side. Rudiger's out there with him. Now teammates trying to make their way into the middle. Rex is the most forward of them, and Thiago Silva has to put it behind for Malmo's first corner of the night.
Yep, and they're absolutely delighted with that. Cholak's trying to get his supporters to shout louder. Good luck, mate. They're shouting loud enough as it is, but that was a decent break there. Out in the right wing there, he was outnumbered 1-1 by Rudiger, so he was never going to get by him. But managing to get corners, not bad.
Can they manage to fashion a chance from this corner? A fair number of players forward for it. It's going to be taken from the far side, the right. Ahmed Hodzic and Nielsen both forward from defence. Berg gets in there too. Over it comes. Havertz has helped it on toward Rex, and Rex will have a go at goal, and it was fairway wide.
Didn't look a great. Havertz is on that front post to get his head on it. But, if it flicks off the top of your head, that almost helps the opposition more than anything else. But he has to try and get there. But Rex, he never looks as if he had the technique to get that on target. Just at the moment, they've got a real lift, haven't they, Malmo, the last couple of minutes? I mean, they're not putting Chelsea under massive pressure, but they've got a lift, they've gone in at half time, part one done, they feel as if they've got almost half a point, as it were, so far. So they will come out fighting again, but Chelsea have to go. That may be creating chances again. Here's another one.
Loftus-Cheek trying to get on the end of the pass, just beaten to it, but it's broken for Azpilicueta, right hand side, level with the edge of the penalty area into Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi in a similar position, flicks it back to Azpilicueta, couldn't get across it, so plays it, or looked to play it down the line, but Hudson-Odoi can't quite track that, but it is touched behind for a Chelsea corner.
Yeah, Cam Hudson-Odoi there gets the ball, but he's got Azpilicueta on the right wing wide of him. And there is now and again, if you're a wide player and a wide attacking player, you just want to be isolated with a fullback. Now and again, if you've got a player, your own player outside you, it kills the space to run into.
First corner of the second half then for Chelsea again. Hakim Ziyech is the player to take it. He's going to whip it straight into the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Ahmed Hodzic. It will come out for Hudson-Odoi. left-hand side. He goes back toward halfway where Azpilicueta was minding the shot. He's pushed it out to Ziyech, right-hand side. Ziyech up against Innocent here. Ziyech gives him the slip, leaves Innocent on the floor. Ziyech puts his crossover. Goalkeeper's palmed it out, and luckily for him, it went to Berget on the penalty spot. He could get it clear. Chelsea trying to get ahead of steam here in the second half, something they've not managed to do in the opening 8 minutes of it. Well won back by Azpilicueta from Pena though. Now here's Loftus-Cheek, points to the penalty area, right-hand side, driving toward the byline now. Loftus-Cheek inside the box, he made a couple of challenges, has a go himself, it bounces off Darley. Not sure he knew much about that, and again he's lucky that he dropped to a Malmo player rather than a Chelsea one.
That's what we want now. We've turned up that tempo, haven't we? Just the last few minutes there, getting shots on, getting crossing in good areas, good inventive play.
It's an Odoi. Out for Azpilicueta, time to chip a crossing here to the edge of the 6-yard box. It wasn't a great one, straight into the head of Berget, headed behind for another Chelsea corner.
Just doesn't seem to land on a Chelsea head anytime, getting in the brilliant positions there. Down the right hand side, almost totally, at the moment, nothing going down the left at all there. The Ruben Loftus-Cheek there gets a shot on target. Once again, Darlene comes off him. I'm sure he's not a fisherman because he doesn't seem to catch anything.
Ziyech again the man to take the corner here. Jorginho was there for a short one. Ziyech going direct again into the 6-yard box, header glanced on by Alonso. Again it hits somebody in a Malmo shirt and goes behind for another corner.
Oh, that was such a decent chance that. Now he does have it right there, Alonso, flicks it with his head, and some suggestion it's not come off. I didn't think it came off Thiago Silva. Do you know what? That could be a handball. They'll have to look at that again. The funny thing is, I think he's given a goal kick.
But Lasse Nielsen, the Malmo captain, ball came in from Alonso and it flicks off the hand of Nielsen. His arm is up around about chest height. Anyway, play's going on, they got away with it, and it's not a corner either.
It's one of those ones where didn't seem to have much a look at that one, didn't they? I'm beginning to wonder if the VAR's working out there today. I mean, they were having a few difficulties with their picture earlier on, weren't they? And they didn't even have a look at that one there.
Yeah, it did look like there was some credence to the claim, or whether they just looked at it incredibly quickly and decided there was no case to answer.
Well, you're not supposed to do that. If there's a penalty kick, you're supposed to take time and get it right and make sure you have a decent look at it. But they were desperate to get a move on from that one. Apart from anything else, worst case scenario, it should have been a corner. Although you can't trade the referee's decision on that one.
Hudson-Odoi flicking it into Havertz. Not seen much of Havertz second half, but he's played a good ball to Hudson-Odoi, who's coming down the right channel. Plays a great ball across for Hakim Ziyech to make it 1-0 to Chelsea. Really, really good goal that, set up by Hudson-Odoi, whose cross was inch perfect. And Ziyech gets his first goal since the Super Cup. And finally, with 56 minutes played, Chelsea make the breakthrough. It's 1-0.
Well, in the last 7 or 8 minutes, the amount of pressure coming down that right hand side's been incredible. A lovely little play by Callum. 1-2, showing his pace there. He takes it across very, very early there. It's as simple as tap-ins from Ziyech. There was a suggestion of a decent chance at a tap-in at the weekend there, but this was almost unmissable. That is the definition of laying on a plate. And yet another player who hadn't notched has joined the scorers at Chelsea. 1-0, and to be fair, thoroughly deserved.
Yeah, beautiful ball from Hudson-Odoi.
You know, I'm sure they knew they'd get 15 minutes. The players on there thinking 15 minutes he's going to make a change. And they're going up to something like 11. They'll better do something. To be fair, the pressure was really put on there, and it is beginning to trouble the opposition. It's been the case from the start of the game. Chelsea have had most of the game, and just deserved, let's be honest.
Malmo are going to respond to that by making a double change. Martin Olsen, once of Blackburn and Swansea and Norwich, is coming on for Soren Rex. Just wait to see what the other change is. It is Livecki, Oscar Livecki, who is just back from fitness, and he's coming on to replace Sergio Pena. So 2 like-for-like swaps there, a left-sided defender and a central midfielder on. Oh, Malmo have got to go to this now.
It'll be intriguing to see what happens now. Do they change their system? Do they go for the back, which they like to play a lot when they're playing domestically, but that's taking a chance. You tend to lose 3 and 4-0s when you do that against good teams, so we shall see. They're going to have a little bit of a go at it, certainly making those 2 changes very quickly.
They've lost 4-0 twice and 3-0 so far.
It's a great moment for Ziyech. We were talking about that earlier on, the amount of shots he's had on target over the last couple of games, and you're thinking, eventually one's got to go in. Well, it wasn't a shot, was it? It was a tap in. But you've got to be that. You've got to have the energy to get there. You've got to believe that, the other man, I was going to say winger, because they're not exactly wingers, but the other attacking player is going to be able to put the ball in the right place. And there he was. And I think he deserves it as much as anyone else because of the way he's put himself in the right positions over the last couple of games.
So he got his goal in the Super Cup right at the start of the season, whether you call that this season or last. Of course, he got goals in the Champions League last season as well. Hakim Ziyech, a big one in the second leg against Atletico in the last 16, and scored in the group stage away to Krasnodar too. Here's Azpilicueta. We're approaching an hour, got Chelsea leading by a goal to nil. It's been coming really since the first minute. Just wonder what Malmo have got in way of response, and whether there might be space for Chelsea to run in a couple of more goals before the game is over. Azpilicueta. It's Havertz for Hudson-Odoi. Get another goal and it really would be perfect conditions to bring Pulisic on and give him a run out, I suppose.
Oh, you've got to see him come on if it happens. You're desperate to get minutes so that you've got another option for a lot of the big games coming up. And if you look at the next couple of months, the amount of games, I think there's 9 games in December alone. So you've got to make sure you get as many players, top players fit as you can possibly get. Especially if, we don't know how long it'll be with Werner, we don't know how long it'll be with Lukaku. And hopefully we'll get them all back firing at the same time, because you can't win leagues in December, but you can lose them.
Mason Mount, Mateo Kovacic unavailable at the moment as well. Goes out and play for a throw to Malmo near halfway over on the far side of the right as we tick over to the hour mark. Chelsea 1-0 in front.
I think Thomas Tuchel can just relax now, can't he? No need to really panic about making changes. He's going to see how the game plans out at the moment, see if the space does open up. To be fair, they gave us 5 minutes, didn't they, at the start of the second half? They really ran at it. They'd had the rest at half time, and they were lifted by the fact that they got to half time at 0-0. We'll just see if they can manage to keep up that level. But the last 10 minutes or so, Malmo have got very, very little of the ball, and Chelsea really turned up the fire on that right hand side.
They still to have a shot on target is Alonso. Loftus-Cheek inside the centre circle, coming over halfway. He's got Hudson-Odoi to his right, chooses to use him. Azpilicueta's further out to the touchline. It's back with Loftus-Cheek at the moment. Here's Azpilicueta. His right foot comes in field, goes for Havertz. Havertz gives it back to Azpilicueta. Now Rudiger for Azpilicueta once more. Chelsea inching their way towards the edge of the Malmo penalty area. Loftus-Cheek's got it again, floats the ball in, which is headed down by Ziyech, but none of his teammates close enough to take advantage of that, and it's cleared up to Cholak under pressure from Thiago Silva, and Silva again wins it back without really trying to. Jorginho plays the ball left hand side to Alonso. Alonso will touch it on for Ziyech, very tightly congested in that area of the pitch. Late nibble from Innocent on Jorginho there. It's going to give Chelsea a free kick.
Yeah, again a little bit of frustration there. It's almost, you almost laugh when you watch Thiago Silva. Excuse me when I fall into Glaswegian. Well, COP26 is on just now, just for a moment, and it's taking sweeties off a wane, as they say in Scotland, i.e. taking sweets off a child. It's so easy for him to get the ball.
Here's Azpilicueta, plays it first time into the penalty area. Loftus-Cheek couldn't quite trap it. Goes through to Darlin.
Again, just sometimes there are games that it's all coming down the right. It's just everything's coming down right. They look dangerous there. And you have to remember, Thomas Tuchel decided to change the, saying to Callum, okay, you've had a period on the left there, you weren't having a great effect in the game. Okay, you come over right, see what you can do there. And it's amazing how quickly that's changed things, hasn't it? And it's not just what he's done, obviously laid on the goal, he's been going by players, he's also been making space for Aspilicueta to get in there, so good understanding with him and Cesar.
Ziyech trying to win the ball in the penalty area from Havertz, but havertz, well, he's going to get it clear. He played it against Alonso, goes out for a throw near the corner flag for Malmo.
But you can't completely relax it, that's the point. It's only 1-0. I mean, every boxer's got, one haymaker, sucker punch in his locker, and Malmo have got that, so you have to make sure that, well, maybe they haven't because you gave us some statistics before about they haven't scored at all, but, you can't take a chance. I mean, they are a team that have won championships in their own nation. They are at home, so it would be good to get that extra goal.
Yeah, won the Swedish League title for the 21st time that season. Beat Riga and Rangers and HJK and Ludogorets to get to this stage.
Another thing to keep in mind, you never know with this group. It could go to goal difference. Absolutely could at the moment. So it's something to keep in mind.
Loftus-Cheek winning the ball back for Chelsea, but he's quickly dispossessed by Rakip, and Rakip's going to have a go from range as well. And his teammates are now saying, why didn't you play it to us, as he fires it over the bar?
Well, he should have. He's gone down claiming injury at the moment there, but Nanasi had made a brilliant run, and they kind of run from the 10 area. He's gone into the inside forward sort of area, and he's run in there, but Rakip hasn't even looked, hasn't even considered. I mean, he's caught the ball well enough, but it's nails off, and his coach is furious with him, absolutely fuming with him. That's not the ball to play there. The slip ball through is the one that he should be playing there. Now he's gone down, I'm not saying claiming injury, he did have an injury earlier on, didn't he? I think that was against Rudiger maybe, and he's managed to get himself a little bit of sympathy, but absolutely none from his manager. We're just getting a little look here at the goal, aren't we? And Callum Hudson had all his ball. I mean, it looks pretty simple, but he's got a little corridor there that he's got to get it past, and he's getting it 6 inches past the centre back, but it has to have just enough pace to half tempt the goalkeeper out. Actually, the more you look at it, the better that ball is, and considering Callum had played the 1-2 with a back heel to get into that position in the first place, a top quality player from Callum.
Yeah, tomorrow morning, if you ask Siri to show you the corridor of uncertainty, it might bring up a clip of that pass.
Absolutely. Actually, more than uncertainty, it's a corridor having not got a clue what to do if you're a defender and if you're the goalkeeper.
Play's been halted here while Rakip gets his treatment. He's making his way off. Jondal Thomason, the Malmo manager, just making his way up to the edge of his technical area to give some instruction. Not got a good record against Chelsea, lost all 3 games as a player against the Blues. Feyenoord at Newcastle.
Yeah, he did have that short period at Newcastle, didn't he? It's only a season, if I can remember rightly.
Couldn't hit a barn door, if I remember rightly.
It's absolutely the case, and he came with such high expectations at the time, but certain players just are suited to certain leagues.
Rakip is off the pitch at the moment, plays back underway though. We're around about the midway point of the second half. Here is Thiago Silva. Rakip is now back with us, so it's 11v11. Chelsea playing Burnley on Saturday before the international break. Champions League wise, it's Juventus at home, the big one, 23rd of November, finishing away to Zenit on the 8th of December.
I mean, that one in itself, St. Petersburg in December, there will be warmer places on the planet, so you'd love to have the, certainly qualification done by then. I would say that's a beautiful sight. I love the place.
Juventus at home, you think, actually, given how poor they've been in Serie A, Chelsea have a good chance of winning that game. But even then, we've seen before in recent years, you can finish first in your group, you get a horrible draw, and you can finish second and have what looks like an easier draw.
But in the end, the odds are on you if you manage to do it. Here's Kai.
Inside the penalty area at the dead ball line, played against Nielsen behind for a corner.
Yeah, I mean, you always try and aim for first, because, not the vast majority of the time, but the majority of the time, it does do you a favour.
Chelsea had a really tough run to the final last season. Atletico Madrid, Benfica, Real Madrid, and then Manchester City, of course, in the final. That's where it's got to be in Europe's top club competition. One from the left here from Ziyech into Thiago Silva. Delicious flick from him, almost came out for Rudiger. Cleared away by Nielsen, but still in the penalty area. Jorginho gets his head to the edge of the box, and then Innocent nods it away.
Oh, I just wish that would have gone in. It was such a classy little flick outside of the right boot. He didn't lash at it, he just redirected it and flicked it around behind himself. It was going in, keeper was beat. Defender on the line just managed to get it away. Of course, he's already scored this season as well. Spurs, the header.
Correct. Here's Christensen. Chip forward by Silva to the edge of the box, looking for Loftus-Cheek. Just beaten to it though. Back with Berget, played it into midfield for Rakip. Now picked up by Nanasi. Was he fouled there? Referee playing on. Well, Rakip certainly was fouled. And once the first yellow card of the game here, will be due for Thiago Silva.
And he knew exactly what he was doing there. There was a break on the right hand side. Rakip at the ball. I don't know if he'd seen the break on the right hand side. I think Thiago Silva knew fine well that had to be nipped in the bud right there and then. It's one of those yellow cards. Yes, there is a bit of cynicism about that there, but it looked like one of the most dangerous situations they've actually managed to find themselves in. Thiago Silva's little flick there, he's gutted that, didn't he, go in, isn't he? That is one of his favourite goals he'd probably ever scored.
Just over 20 minutes plus stoppages to play here. Still just the one goal for Chelsea. Malmo, he says, touching wood, not particularly looking like they're about to find an equaliser. Certainly not with free kicks like that one from Ricky.
Well, there was one little break there, and then there was maybe one, I wouldn't call it heart-stopping moment, but certainly a little flutter earlier on as well. But there's not been much. But you just desperate for that second goal. We're getting chances now. Certainly, there's been 3 or 4. I would say the best one is probably Thiago Silva's, apart from the goal. But we could do with that second goal. I'd love to relax for the last 20 minutes, and as you've said before, a chance to get to the second goal would be good as well.
He hitting a cross-come shot, slash behind to the Malmo supporters.
But it would upset Chelsea not getting the 3 points at this game. They've made a mess of it, haven't been in control of most of it. But also, with the best will in the world, they're not an absolute top-class outfit. They're a team that doesn't go any further than this for a right good reason, because player for player they've not been good enough. So to drop anything here would be a very, very disappointing situation.
Free kick for Chelsea for a foul on Azpilicueta, halfway inside Chelsea's half by Martin Olsen. Just tripped him up as he went to pass it on. Here's Hudson-Odoi on halfway right-hand side.
I wonder if it would be a temptation also maybe to bring Reece James on at some point in time as well, because Reece and Callum have an absolutely brilliant understanding. I mean, not saying it's not been good in the second half between Azpi and Callum, because it has been good and they have created stuff together, but I think Reece and Callum is almost telepathic. They've been working together for a long, long time.
Since they were children. 1-0 to Chelsea. Here's Rudiger on halfway into Silva. Rudiger again. Goes back to Mendy.
Trying a bit more of a high press now, aren't they, Malmo? So, giving them a due. They're making an effort to do that, but that should help us break as we are now.
Lovely touch from Loftus-Cheek to take it away from Innocent, driving to the edge of the penalty area here. Got to pick a pass. Loftus-Cheek gave it into Havertz under pressure. Havertz coming out of the box, gives it to Ziyech. Ziyech looked to flick it back to him, got too much of it through to Darling.
And that's the problem that Malmo are always going to have. They're trying to high press with 4 players. I mean, really? You're not going to be able to do that. You either do a high press or you don't. And a half press doesn't often work that well. So, if those 4 are broken through, and whether it's a bit of skill or just neat interplay, which Chelsea are very, very good at, then puts in a difficult position. And once again, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finds himself there in a good position. He just doesn't get that final pass away to get a player through.
Cleared away by Darling. Goes out to the right-hand side. Berget couldn't keep it in play. Goes behind for a Chelsea throw. It's going to be the signal for substitutions to take place.
I was expecting this. Surprised maybe it was taking quite this long, but you know, it just got to a stage of the game you're thinking, let's have a little bit of a go at this. You know, we need to put this to bed slightly, and I think that's what he's going to try and do just now.
Pulisic and Barkley, the two players coming on for Chelsea. Adil Malic will come on for Malmo too. Hudson-Odoi's number is the first one that is up, so that Christian Pulisic can make his return. An injury on international duty in September, which has kept him out. Hakim Ziyech is also giving way, so that Ross Barkley can come on.
Yeah, you know, Barkley's done so well, hasn't he? When he's had his little opportunities, he's sort of prized a lot. People felt his team, you know, his limitations and his chances are going to be like maybe the odd League Cup game. But in actual fact, when he's come on, he's made a difference on quite a few occasions. So, great news to see Christian Pulisic back in the field, isn't it?
It certainly is. Let's see what he can do for the final 15 minutes or so. It is young Nanasi who's gone off, so Nadic can come on, by the way. Ross Barkley scored on this ground when Chelsea played here in the Europa League back in 2019.
Remember, the weather was not quite as good as it is now. Much colder.
Taking a throw in from Malmo. Keat it over his head. Now is Thiago Silva. Rudiger, being played at walking pace really. Chelsea not in a great hurry to try and get a second goal.
You always think about the players that have come off, you know, and Callum's come off and Ziyech have come off, and they'd love to have stayed on. But you know, you've scored, one of them scored and one of them's created. So there is a little bit of a job when you come off. You're quite pleased about that. You've done what's expected of you, particularly in the second half.
Here's Christensen bringing it forward for Chelsea to the feet of Havertz. Loftus-Cheek right hand side, Chelsea inside Malmo's half, about halfway inside it. Christensen goes back to Thiago Silva. Silva feeding it into Azpilicueta. It's Christensen again. Flicked the ball across for Rudiger.
Do you know, that's the odd thing about today's game? I would say this is about the least passes in a game I've ever seen from Jorginho in a Chelsea shirt. I mean, they spent the entire time from the first minute closing them down as if to say, right, if we can stop him, we'll stop a big part of the play. And yes, you can do that, but you have to stop everybody else as well. But they've done a decent job in Jorginho today.
Barkley, meanwhile, lays it off for Rudiger, left hand side, halfway inside Malmo's half. Back with Barkley again now, driving forward. Barkley lifting one over the top for Pulisic. Flag stays down. Pulisic couldn't quite get it under control, but it's broken for Barkley. His shot blocked. Go out for Loftus-Cheek, edge of the penalty area. Loftus-Cheek inside the box now, looking for some support from Azpilicueta. Goes back up to Christensen. He'll turn away from Cholak nicely. Christensen going across the pitch to find Barkley. Barkley moves it out left hand side for Rudiger. Here's Barkley again, clicking a pass into the penalty area for Pulisic. Back to goal, looking to turn, just stumbled. He's kept possession though. Trying to work it into Alonso, he goes down. No suggestion of a penalty though, and Berger gets it away.
Running into a lot of traffic there, but finding really nice positions there. Pulisic working well with Barkley immediately since he's come on, and you know it's likely, Thomas, to go. You will not be surprised if one of those players either scores or makes a goal, would you?
Left hand side with Martin Olsen now, blocked by Azpilicueta, goes out of play for a throw.
It's a little bit of adaptation in the system as well, isn't it? Pulisic's really playing up front alongside Havertz, and Ross Barkley almost playing the 10 behind him. So asking a different set of questions for the Malmo players.
So sort of like the formation we saw with Werner and Lukaku before they got injured in this game there. Reverse of.
Yeah, he's trying to get them as far forward as possible and working as the two there. It creates space for Ross Barkley, who loves playing in that sort of little place out pocket in behind him.
Here's Thiago Silva. Now Christensen. Azpilicueta. Infield to Pulisic. Pulisic goes back to Christensen. Malmo struggling to get a touch on the ball at the moment. 12.5 minutes to play in the game. Malmo 0, Chelsea 1, the only goal of the game coming from Hakim Ziyech on 56 minutes. Christensen. Spiliqueta wants it right hand side, came into Pulisic instead now as Spiliqueta gets in touch. Played it first time to Loftus-Cheek, lovely touch from him and moves it forward to Havertz. Could be 2-0 here. Havertz probably should have scored. Darling did well to come out and narrow the angle and make the block.
When he'd done everything right, the movement was brilliant, the play up to there was good as well.
Barkley has a pop from 25 yards, flies wide.
Yeah, but it's good movement to get from Havertz, gets himself in the right position. And he's always playing on the shoulder there, definitely onside, no doubt about that. To be honest, the goalkeeper's done well to get the angles right. I don't think he knows a great deal about this. He makes himself big and it basically just hits off his feet. One of those ones that more often than not, or regularly I would say, the ball will go through the goalkeeper's legs and ends up in the net. So a little bit unlucky there, Havertz, and we start counting up the chances now. They are beginning to number quite a few, and being slightly surprised that we've only got one so far.
Here is Thiago Silva on the ball for Chelsea. Gives it short to Christensen. Christensen in field for Jorginho. Jorginho just over halfway. Out to the left and Barkley. Barkley back for Rudiger. Just over 10 minutes left. Malmo surely going to have to try and go for it at some stage. Alonso by Innocent gives Chelsea a free kick.
The problem is, in a couple of occasions they've tried to go for it a bit and close us high up the field. We've just cut them apart. We've just passed through them and find ourselves right on their back line and then going backwards. So they are caught between a rock and a hard place at the moment.
Loftus-Cheek into Pulisic. Pulisic playing it to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta's cross blocked. Chelsea have had 19 shots at goal in this game, only scored one of them. Yet to force Mendy into anything like serious work. 4 attempts, but he hasn't had to save any of them. Loftus-Cheek's going to get a booking here.
He might be disappointed in himself there. He goes to ground unnecessarily. You know, I don't think Rakip's going anywhere there. You just stay on your feet, show him in an area where he's not going to cause any damage. He's certainly not going to outrun you. Maybe I'm trying to watch again. I'm just going to try and give Ruben an excuse there that he maybe slipped, but no, he's going to ground far too early. It's not nasty, is it? It's an easy yellow to give away.
Malmo looking for the equaliser now, coming down Chelsea's left. Ball goes out to play, but the last touch was off a Malmo man, so it's behind for a goal kick.
I mean, it must be tough for Sholat. I mean, he's worked hard and he's chased hard. There's knowledge on that occasion as well. But every moment they're coming up against Christensen, who's in fabulous form just now. Rudiger, who, as we know, nobody ever gets by. And of course, Thiago Silva, who refuses to break sweat. Got a smack in the nose there, but he may have been his own kill.
It was, yeah. Berget is down and is bleeding, so we're going to have a stop so he can get some treatment for that.
It's one of those ones they're just playing, hoping that they can get a free kick in the final third, or maybe a corner, so they can whip it into the box and ask a question and hopefully find Chelsea switch off for a moment. And that's what the fans are feeling as well. They're singing, they'll be singing all night. I haven't said that, Chelsea fans in the stadium have made a right good noise as well. But this game is not quite finished yet. We'd like to be breathing just as... I mean, it's not panic, is it? It's absolutely not panic. A goal now and it's a cruise to the end of the game, and we'd certainly deserve it. And if we did manage to lose a goal here, it would be a travesty because we've had such domination and such control.
Well, we still have the breaking players. Berget gets stitched up here. 8 minutes plus stoppages. You think we'll get 3 or 4 minutes of stoppage time. So Malmo with reason to believe here. Their team trailed by a goal to 0, and they haven't particularly looked like scoring at any stage in the competition, never mind in this match.
It's not affected the fans, has it? No, I suppose they have get something to cheer about in domestic scenes sometimes, but they know they've done well to get they're far, and they want to be competitive against some of the best teams. Berget actually does look quite dazed there, doesn't he? They didn't actually look that bad in first viewing, but he does look a bit dazed. Certainly he's tired. He's put a bit of a shift in that right hand side.
They've got 2 subs left and they're going to make them both now by the looks of things, Malmo. He restarts with Mendy's goal kick. Thiago Silva moves it out to Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek with a little step over, trying to get away from his man. He managed to do that, then the wiki got a touch on the ball. Here is Barkley. Trying to play it into the path of Alonso, but it was intercepted. Pulisic trying to pick up the pieces, did well to do that. He was taken out of it, but luckily he's back up on his feet quickly. Jorginho off for Rudiger. It's Jorginho again. Christensen now just over halfway to Loftus-Cheek, who immediately gives it him back. Chelsea not their electric best in this game, but definitely the better of the 2 teams. Christensen into Loftus-Cheek. Now that's Piliqueta. Pulisic goes back to Loftus-Cheek. Chelsea totally dictating things in terms of possession. Malmo with lots of players back behind the ball. Can Chelsea find a way through them? So to Rudiger. There's Thiago Silva. As Chelsea got the ball, of course, Malmo can't score. Loftus-Cheek. Piliqueta, right hand side, goes back to Christensen on halfway.
Keep on doing this. Just hold the ball as much as you like. They're going to play as deep as they are just now and not squeeze off at all. They're a goal down. It's good enough.